motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread. That's for damn sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now. If you think about my cornbread, get the taste out your mouth. That's for damn sure. Now fuck him. Fuck that. Because I'm from New York City, goddammit. Nobody take no cornbread from me. That goes for you and any other you motherfucking farmers wanna try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
What up? What's going on, folks? What's going on? It's Maestro Styles and Trey Fraser here in the house for another week of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, live on the website barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com, also on our Instagram, on IG Live as well. Just go to our Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. You can watch us there. You can get in the chat. Or you can listen to us on the website, barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. Also, you can follow us on the Facebook page. Also on Twitter at barbershopspor2. What's good, man? What's popping?
Hey, man, fresh off the Super Bowl. We had our little get together at your crib Super Bowl night, and I asked you a question late in that game, and you never answered me. So I figured this would be a good time to ask you.
Okay.
The Damian Williams touchdown count as a pull away?
According to the score, yes, it does. And I think I answered you, but it's probably not the answer you were looking for. That game basically was decided. Like, I understand the Niners had their timeouts and everything. In my mind, the Niners weren't getting the football back. And I understand you got to play the percentages and you got to take timeouts and you got to try to stop them 3 times before they could get another first down. But that game was basically in hand. I think the 49ers knew it. I think that defense knew it, which is why they let Damian Williams run for that touchdown.
Interesting.
Look, I give it to you because the score indicated that they pulled away, but you also said that they will pull away in the third quarter.
I swore I said second half and not third quarter. I swore I said second half.
You said third quarter. I'm almost positive that you said third quarter.
Well, I'm almost positive I said second half, so here we are at a standstill.
Well, it's on wax, right? Or it's on tape. We can go back and listen to the episode, so we can definitely do that.
Yeah, I mean, so definitely shouts out to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning the Super Bowl. Was it 31-20? Patrick Mahomes, the MVP. I guess since we got all the if you live under a rock news out the way, I guess we could just get straight into it, man.
Yeah, before we do that, I just want to shout out my peoples, man. You,
okay.
Melvin, Alex, and Levon, and my wife, Debbie, and my in-laws and all the kids came over for the crib for the Super Bowl party. And I'll use your term, if you're living under a rock, we uploaded some pictures all over our social media stuff. Nothing really special, just, a family just getting together for the big game and all that good stuff. So much appreciated, from everyone. This is the first time I hosted the Super Bowl party in like 5 years or something like that. I think the last Super Bowl I hosted was when Beast Mode didn't get the ball at the goal line.
Yeah.
So much appreciated that everybody came through to support us and the movement and all that. So now that we got that out of the way, what's good?
And the more importantly, just to watch a good game.
Absolutely,
game.
And the game was a good game.
It was a good game.
It was a good game.
And if I'm being honest, man, really from front to back, this was one of the better Super Bowls. I mean, if you add the performances and all those things that come along with the Super Bowl, this is a pretty good Super Bowl production. Now I will say that I didn't catch none of the commercials caught my eye. I'll say that. But when it comes to the overall, well, no, I'm lying, because when the Marvel stuff came on, I was
right.
Yeah, but anyway, from the national anthem and all that, everything was good. I mean, they picked good singers, they performed well, like everything was done well this year. I honestly don't have a real criticism when it comes to criticizing the entire production of the Super Bowl this year.
And as much as I wanted to see Trick Daddy, Trina, 2 Live Crew come out of the back some way, somehow, the production, I have to say, it was a really good production, man. Shakira and J-Lo, they tore it down at the halftime show.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't have minded seeing Wyclef and Ja Rule, but it was good.
Yeah, it was good. Production, singers, I mean, everything about it, I thought was on point.
I was entertained. I was definitely entertained.
Yep. So, plays that kind of caught my eye throughout the game, right? That I thought made a big difference in the outcome, and it's not like how I predicted it, because I kind of predicted it to be like a back and forth kind of a game, and it ended up being 10-10. I guess for like the longest stretch of the game, it was 10-10 for the most part, and the Niners, I would have to say, and particularly on defense, the Niners dominated this football game for about 3 quarters, maybe 3 quarters and some change. I know the Chiefs scored really quickly early and got that lead 7-3 and really could have made it, 14-3? And I thought if they would have made it 14-3 that would have been it and that the Chiefs were just going to kind of take off. But the Niners get that stop on 3rd down in the red zone. They kick the field goal, so now it's 10-3, and now you're thinking, okay, the Niners, they needed that. They're back in this thing. All they need is a drive, which they got, and they were able to get that touchdown back to tie it up, 10-10, and it stayed 10-10 for the most part. The game changed for me, and I thought about a couple of different plays that I thought might have turned this game, but I got to be honest with you, and I know you and I, we've had our discussions in the 4th quarter watching the game together, and we talked about Jimmy G not getting it done. I think I talked about Shanahan kind of not running the football in certain situations, particularly that 2nd and 5, when I think the score was like 20-17 and they were still up by 3. I got to tell you, man, that 3rd and 15 that the Chiefs had after, I guess it was it a penalty, or I can't remember if it was a penalty or
this nigga intentionally did. See, this is the thing, that wasn't a play call. This nigga did an 11-step drop so to make sure that nobody would get to him before he made his throw.
Oh, the play was a lucky play.
I know. No, that's the thing. I don't think it was lucky. I think he improvised. He made first of all, you don't make 11-step drops in football games. That's just not something you do. I think he improvised it in the sense of, okay, this is the chance where Nick Bosa is going to throw Eric Fisher to the ground. I think it's Eric Fisher, that lineman.
Yep.
He's going to throw the dude to the ground, and he's going to sack me, and I'm going to be running for my life. He said before he hiked that ball, without saying anything to anybody, this is just me speculating, that I'm going to go back as far as I can because I know I need these yards, and it just so happens Tyreek Hill, for the 40-yarder.
Well, I disagree.
But I think he did that. I think he did that. Not to cut you off. I think he did that to make sure that he would see any rush coming to him. That's not a traditional drop back.
No, I agree with that part. I agree it's not a traditional drop back, but I disagree in the sense that the play from start to finish wasn't lucky. I thought the ball was thrown. I mean, it was underthrown. First of all, I didn't think the throw was all that great, number one. Number two, Tyreek Hill had to actually stop and sort of kind of break his run and come back for the ball a little bit. And number three, what the hell was the Niners doing, back in the secondary? I mean, we talked about the zone coverage that they were playing for most of the night, and you're not going to beat this Chiefs team playing zone almost 80% of the time. You're just not going to do that. So
I'm not saying where you saw the luck though. What I saw was
that it was a bad throw. First of all, it was a prayer, and again, I get your.
I think it was a bad throw. I don't think it was a prayer.
I thought it was a prayer. I agree with you that the 11-step drop, that's not something you just kind of dial up. That's not something that the coach is going to get in your ear and say, hey, drop back, 11 steps. I agree there. But when you talk about the throw, when you talk about the fact that Tyreek Hill had to kind of stop, turn, and wait for that ball to get to him, which means it was an underthrown ball, and the fact that the Niners were playing the coverage that they played, a 3rd and 15, if you're the Niners, you got to get a stop right there, if you ask me.
Okay, so, yeah, we still disagree.
That's cool.
Where I see the play, how I saw that play is that they were going to rush Patrick Mahomes. They were going to blitz Patrick Mahomes, which they did, which is why he took the 11-step drop.
Mm-hmm. He
threw it in between the zone. He threw it at the weak spot of the zone. Now, it was a bad throw, but it was accurate enough where the two defenders, it fell in between the zone. So my thing is that had he thrown the accurate ball, Tyreek Hill probably would have scored a touchdown
exactly,
or got more yardage. But I don't think it was a lucky throw. I think it was a good decision, a bad throw. So,
well, I'm not saying that the throw was lucky. I'm just talking about the whole play in general. From the 11-step drop to the point where Tyreek caught that ball, there was some luck involved with that. You can't tell me that there was no form of luck in that.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I think we disagree right there.
I'm telling you exactly why it wasn't luck. Where he threw the ball was a great decision. Where he was trying to throw the ball was a great decision. It was accurate enough to get in between the zone, but not accurate enough to hit him in stride. Mm-hmm. So yes, it was an underthrown ball, but it was a great decision. It was a great decision, and it was such a great decision that for the 49 defenders behind and in front of Tyreek Hill couldn't react to it. That was planned.
You said that was planned?
I think, yeah, I'm sure that was analytics.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree with that. Analytics, if any other quarterback did that, if Eli Manning did that, we would be saying this is the luckiest dude on earth.
No, we wouldn't. We would never say that for a dude who, from height, took a 11-step drop. Nobody does that unless they know something. That's not something you just do.
Right, which would make it more. And again, I'm not talking about just one particular part of the play. I'm talking about the play as a whole. There's a lot of things that had to happen. Like the rush, he avoided the rush. I get that part. Tyreek Hill also had to come back for that ball.
My point is that if you cover that, it's safe to say that it was about a 7-yard space between the defender in front of Tyreek Hill and defender behind Tyreek Hill, and that Patrick Mahomes had to drop that ball in between that radius in that
space. in the space where
and he
Tyreek
did
Hill
that.
was at.
Now, again, I'm not saying that, and let's be clear, it's not Patrick Mahomes have been making those throws and, picking apart the weaknesses of zones. He had been pretty much doing that a lot of the game. Even though he wasn't having the greatest game, when he was successful, it was in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I 100% do believe it was analytics. They knew he was coming with the blitz, and or you should know or have an idea of what kind of zone they're going to be running in the backfield, in the secondary.
Yeah.
I think that was playing.
Yeah, we got to disagree. We got to agree to disagree there. And then you throw in the word analytics. To me, there's just, sure, he probably thought, okay, I'm going to step back 11 times. But I think you're right. It's just something that you normally don't see out of a quarterback. You rarely see 11-step drops. You rarely see that. And then and the fact that it was a 3rd and 15, which was crazy to me. But in your opinion, though, do you think that was the turning point in the game?
I don't know. Let me say that. I
well,
don't know. Let me say that.
Well, the Niners, anytime you get somebody, 3rd and 15, and you got a defense the way San Francisco's got a defense, you got to get off the field right there.
Sure.
I'm sorry. And I get you're playing the best quarterback in the league. I totally get it 100%. Patrick Mahomes did not have a great day up until the last 6 minutes of the football game. And at that point in the game, you got to get off the field. And I thought the Niners defense unraveled from that point after Tyreek Hill caught that ball. They scored the touchdown, right? That was the Kelsey touchdown, right? And then the Niners get the ball back, and the Niners did their little 3-and-out situation. And like I said earlier, I thought about the 2nd and 5 after they got the 5-yard run on first down. I kept thinking to myself, they should just continue to run the ball right here. Like they've been, like I'm thinking back to the Green Bay game where it was a 3rd and 8, and they said we're gonna run the ball on 3rd and 8, and I think they scored a touchdown on that play. I don't know if you remember that play a couple weeks ago,
no.
But yeah, they had a 3rd and 8, and they ran the ball on 3rd and 8. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, it's 2nd and 5. It's the waning moments of the game. You got to stick to your bread and butter. Do what got you to this point. And they got totally away from that. Now I get there was a tip ball from one of the linemen on the Chiefs. One of those plays, I think it was maybe a 2nd down, maybe not on that particular drive, but maybe on the next drive. There was a couple batted balls down, so I get that part about it, but to me...
How much stock do you put into the fact that the Chiefs probably saw a running play coming and lined up as if they were prepared to stop that running play, and that's why they threw it?
How much of that was on the Chiefs?
How much stock do you put into the fact that the reason why they threw it on that 2nd and 5 is that is because they saw what the Chiefs were doing and thought that they could catch the Chiefs slipping if they ran a play action, which they did?
I put very little stock into it, and here's why. I said it before. They ran on 3rd and 8. Now, you could say they maybe saw something on 3rd and 8 against Green Bay and said, we're just going to catch them off guard because they're playing this particular coverage. They expected the pass, so, it opened up the run. I get that part. But the Niners, for the majority of this season, they didn't give a damn. They didn't give a damn if you put 10, 11 in a box. They were going to give it to the running backs and let them do their thing. They were getting chunk yards.
I don't got enough examples of that. I heard you said the 3rd and 8 from the Packers game. I don't got enough. I agree that they are one of the top running teams in the NFL this year, and if it were me, I would have ran the ball. But I also take into account the fact that they were 12 and 13 on play actions in that game. if Jimmy Garoppolo does anything well at quarterback, is making those short throws and making them effectively. If Kyle Shanahan has done anything play calling wise to help out Jimmy G, it's those types of play action short throws. So while I agree, and I would have ran the ball on 2nd and 5 as well. I'm not as mad as, I see a lot of people being, because let's say that play would have worked because they were playing the run and Chris Jones didn't. It's not like we could say on that 2nd and 5 he made a bad throw. All we can say is Chris Jones made a good defensive play. We don't know how that play would have developed had Chris Jones not batted that ball down.
No,
so,
I agree. I agree with that.
So I'm not so much mad at that 2nd and 5. I do understand the consequences of that 2nd and 5 not working, and that's why they're getting issue with their play callers. I understand why that's being questioned.
Yep.
But had it gone the other way around, it's not like Jimmy Garoppolo made a terrible throw, or did something bad, and that's why it happened the way it happened. So I'm not so much mad. I wasn't so much mad at that. But when it comes to Kyle Shanahan, for me, when he missed Emmanuel Sanders, man,
that's another big play.
When he missed Emmanuel Sanders, that just hurt differently, man.
That's another big play. I agree.
If you were a San Fran fan and you were trying to, change Chiefs had already gained momentum,
and the Chiefs were in the lead at that point, I think, right?
Yeah, the Chiefs were in the lead at that point, and had he completed that pass, first of all, Emmanuel Sanders was gone. Second of all, we're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo in a whole different light and questioning, oh man, all y'all that didn't believe in Jimmy Garoppolo, now what? You know what I'm saying? So this was it's those monumental, those moment plays where it's like, man, you just have to, and that's not the only bad throw he's missed, but that one right there,
that hurts.
It's those reasons why, why I never had San Fran going to the Super Bowl. I definitely didn't think they were going to win the Super Bowl, and it was because of the quarterback. There was going to be a situation, and we talked about it Sunday, we talked about it the week before, and probably all year, and to some extent, that Jimmy Garoppolo is, like maybe a lower tier quarterback and maybe mid tier at best. But you know what I'm saying? But we don't believe Jimmy Garoppolo in the moments where stars are born. Not yet.
He's had a couple of examples. Like, I remember the regular season game against, I think it was the Cardinals. It was a Thursday night game, and they had to come back on the Cardinals to take a lead and win the game. And I remember that same week we were talking about that game, and I think one thing I said is that that's cute. It's good that he was able to come back and win a football game. I got to see it against somebody other than the Cardinals, who I think at that point was like 2 and whatever at that point in the season. So then the Saints game. So then the Saints game came. I think it was the week. Maybe a couple weeks after that Cardinal game, where they went back and forth. Breeze and Garoppolo, they went back and forth. And on a 4th and 2, and look, 4th and 2 should be money in most people's eyes, but, you never know. He converts the 4th and 2 when Kittle does his thing down the field, and we kind of talked about Garoppolo in sort of a different light after that game. We said, okay, this is the Saints. I mean, they have the same record as the Niners, and I kind of was like, okay, I'll give him some props for doing that, because I said a couple weeks prior that I needed to see him do it against better competition, and he did that. He did that against better competition. So, I say all that just to say I wasn't sold on, the biggest moment, which is the Super Bowl. That is the biggest of the moments that you could, possibly have. I thought he would play well in this game. I just thought Patrick Mahomes was just going to be 3 times better than him. I thought both quarterbacks would play well.
Just to clarify, Jimmy Garoppolo didn't have a statistic bad game for what it's worth. I mean, he wasn't bad. He was efficient in his game plan, except for the fact that when it was time to step out of the game plan and be a transcendent quarterback in this league in the biggest moment of his career, he couldn't do it. And that's not to take. I mean, it's what he is. It's just what he is. I don't know if he's ever going to grow to be more than that guy. And with that team, it might be good enough to win a Super Bowl one day. But
yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm not gonna, because I see a lot of folks talking about, and it's so funny. I heard this one instance where they said trade Jimmy Garoppolo back to the Patriots for Tom Brady because Tom Brady in that situation would have won that football game, which I agree with 100%. I think Brady would have hit Emmanuel Sanders down the field there, but I'm like, come on, guys, like y'all ready to just dump Jimmy G already because of this one bad quarter? Like, come on, y'all.
I can respect, but it's the biggest. Again, this team, for what it's worth, is considered to be a Super Bowl caliber team. And the only thing that seems to be, and I'm saying seems, to be holding them back is the quarterback. It's not the defense. The defense was tired. The defense was tired.
Yep.
So the running backs was productive. They definitely, from a coaching standpoint, went away from the running game too soon.
I was going to say, they should have ran a lot more. 22 carries is not enough.
Yeah, but if you don't run, you throw, and then that person who throws the ball is responsible for making the plays, and he didn't. With that being said,
but that doesn't mean that he can't do it next year or the year after or whenever they get a chance to get back there, if they ever get back there.
I'm not saying trade him either. First of all, I don't even believe that would really work for people who really feel that way. I hope that's just one of those sports, I hope type things.
It was more so a hot take. In my opinion, I just thought it was just people trying to get a reaction.
I can't see how they think that they would trade Jimmy Garoppolo for Tom Brady. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's I get it. I think that's more of those what if, man, I sure wish that would happen type things.
They tried to say it as a hot take, bro. It wasn't even a question to them. They just came out and just said it. Like, hey, this is what I would do.
All that to say is that, this is a Super Bowl team, and it seems like the only thing holding them back was the quarterback at this point.
Yep.
And again, that's not to say get rid of him. That's just to say that he wasn't ready for this moment right now. But even with that being said, man, if you think Seattle's done competing,
it's going to be tough for them to get back.
Yeah,
there's no question about that. It's going to be tough for them to get back.
Yeah, so I mean, say what you want about the Cowboys, but if you're talking about an offense that can rival that defense, that Cowboy offense in all cylinders is going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So,
with Mike McCarthy running the show now, yeah,
that's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, there are other teams in the NFC.
The Saints.
Even if we don't know if Drew Brees is going to be back, but
he'll be back.
That's what you say, but that's not set in stone yet, and that's not what. And everybody don't necessarily feel as strongly about it as you do.
Oh, okay. I feel confident about it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I was just listening to something earlier today that was saying that they weren't so sure that Drew Brees. They not sold on the fact that 100% Drew Brees is going to play next year.
Right.
So.
You know what I think we should. You know what I think we should do for next week's show. I think we should handicap all 32 teams' quarterback situation. Because, there's a lot of quarterbacks that's going to be on the move this offseason. I mean, you got Rivers. What's up?
Rivers might retire though. I wouldn't.
Yeah, might, but
I'm leaning more towards him retiring than playing for another team.
No, I hear you. But my point is that I think there's going to be a lot of quarterback spots changing, like, more so than we've ever seen it in an offseason. Like Cam.
You think so?
Well, maybe we should do this now. maybe we should do this now.
How fast can you do it?
What's up?
I said, how fast can you do it? Because, I mean, we kind of in the middle of a Super Bowl recap.
Okay,
I'm for the shits. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just throw some names out there for you.
Okay.
Phillip Rivers,
Retired.
Tom Brady,
He'll be somewhere.
Cam Newton,
I think he'll be gone somewhere else.
Derek Carr.
I don't have a reason to believe that he's going to be gone, or I don't have an opinion on him.
Sure. I'm trying to think. Jameis.
He'll probably still be there, to be honest.
Tannehill. He's a free agent.
I read reports that they're trying to keep him. They're making it their business to keep him.
Okay, and I think it's safe to say Mariota's not going to be in Tennessee.
Sure, and I don't even, and to be honest, I don't even respect Mariota as a starting quarterback anymore. I don't know that he's going to be a starting quarterback next year.
I wouldn't give up on him just yet. I need to see him in another system before I could definitely say, okay, he's had a second shot. It's just not going so well. This guy might be a backup, in the immediate future.
I see him as a backup. I don't see. I mean, I'd gladly be wrong, but I don't see him in that starting capacity anymore. And I get that he's more talented than probably some of the people that would be starting.
Yep.
But I don't see him in the starting capacity anymore.
Yep. So that's 7 quarterbacks that I just named right there. And again, it's not so much that guys are retiring. It's also more so that there's guys that are free agents. And we don't know if these teams are going to re-sign these guys or they're going to tender them, put the tag on them or what. But
I mean, it sounds like you're only talking about Dak Prescott.
As far as what?
Dak Prescott is the only person that's like due. Like Dak Prescott is due.
Right. But some of the guys I mentioned are also free agents also.
Yeah, but like Ryan Tannehill, like he a free agent, but
I'm not sold that he's gonna stay in Tennessee though. Well, especially if they're gonna pay Derrick Henry.
Well, I've already heard reports that they plan on keeping him, and it's not like they don't gotta break the bank for Ryan Tannehill. They ain't gonna have no problem paying Derrick Henry.
Well, sure.
They're not even gonna pay. He'd be lucky to get 20 million.
Sure.
He'd be lucky to get 20 million.
Sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be easy.
Sure, but I'm still not sold yet. But bottom line is, I think there's a lot of questions at the quarterback spots for more teams than I think we've ever seen in the offseason. I mean, I didn't even mention the Miami situation, and I know Fitzpatrick came out and said he wants to come back, but I'm not sold that Fitzpatrick's going to be the starter next season.
You think they're going to make a big quarterback, like a big name quarterback?
The Dolphins?
Yeah.
They could draft Tua.
Okay, well, drafting and picking up a big quarterback is two different things.
But it still goes along with my point of there's a lot of questions at the quarterback spot for a lot of teams this offseason, more so than any other offseason that I could remember.
Okay. I get you. I don't necessarily see it that way. You're talking about the Bengals, who clearly they're gonna draft Burrow.
Yep.
The Dolphins who are probably gonna end up drafting the boy you just mentioned,
Tua.
And the Chargers who are probably gonna end up drafting Herbert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot. Jalen Hurts coming out too?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of.
I'm only basing that per Todd McShay's mock draft that just came out the other day. So I'm only basing it per that. I'm not
right.
But,
and then I didn't even mention Teddy Bridgewater, and I know he's a backup for the Saints, but I hear a lot of people saying, "Yo, Teddy Bridgewater's a starter in the league." There's teams that could use a quarterback. I mean, could you see Bridgewater in Tampa if they decide they don't want to pay Jameis Winston and maybe want to go cheaper with Bridgewater? I could see something like that happening.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. No, I would see them keeping Jameis before they pick up Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not making that prediction per se.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I get where you're going. I just don't see that it's that deep. I think every single year we can make cases for quarterbacks based off the speculation, but I don't think there's so much concrete quarterback movement that's going to happen.
Yeah, there's nothing concrete. I mean, there's nothing concrete. I mean, I think there's teams that, and like I said, I think we can do this exercise next week on the show, but there's definitely teams that you're going to go into the offseason and saying that guy's going to be the starter. Like 100%.
I think we got more answers this year than we have questions. At quarterback.
Based on what, the 32 teams?
Based on who's available in the pool and based on how quarterbacks performed last year and contracts, I think we got way more answers about who's going to start than questions about somebody taking those reins. Hey,
we'll see. We'll see. We'll discuss it next week. But let's get back to the Super Bowl for a minute. And so the play for you said was the deep bomb to Emmanuel Sanders.
It's not just him missing it, yeah. But I mean, I don't necessarily want to talk about, that was the play for me. But if you want to talk about kind of
like the turning point,
or not even a turning point. I mean, I think we covered that. But for me, this is about to be a Jimmy Garoppolo ragging session, but
it's fine. Let's rag on Jimmy Garoppolo.
Cause it's like this, man.
He deserves some of the blame.
I think he deserves majority of the blame, but him first and Kyle Shanahan second, but definitely Jimmy Garoppolo, man, because here's the thing. San Fran did a very good job at least in the first half. I'm sorry, San Fran did a very good job of taking the Chiefs' defensive approach early out of the game. Mm-hmm. Meaning, they thought they were going to just load up on the running game, like they did with Derrick Henry. Yep. And no matter who was handed the ball, they were going to be able to load up and stop the run. But they immediately, did the tricky jet sweeps and, those types of things early to try to, all right, now y'all got to play us honest right now.
Yep.
And from the jump, when you say that, okay, now y'all got to play us honest, that's why the running game opened up, and that's why Jimmy Garoppolo had opportunities to make throws that he wasn't making. Kyle Shanahan put together a plan like he knew exactly what Kansas City was going to do in initial, starting off with this game, mm-hmm. and decided, you know what, let me go ahead and get these folks honest, run some jet sweeps that were productive with Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, that was mad productive.
And get them thinking about, oh man, we got to account for that. So now we got to change our fork. We can't just put 8 in the box and expect somebody to come in between the tackles. We can't do that no more.
Yeah.
So they do that, and now it's like, that's why you saw the movement, you saw them doing things. But every time they got a little bit of pressure, Jimmy Garoppolo did something crazy, like closed his eyes and threw the ball in the air for Bashaud Breeland to pick off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The two-handed throw he did in the second half. That terrible, when he missed Kittles terribly on a third down, I want to say it was.
I don't fault him for the two-handed pass per se. I mean, he was already wrapped up at that point. If you want to criticize the decision to actually get rid of the ball, I'm with you. But as far as like the whole two-hand technique to, try to make something happen, I'm not gonna.
He closed his eyes though, bro.
I'm not. What's up?
His eyes, bro. He closed his eyes.
Yeah, well, hey.
You can't close your eyes and throw the ball. You can't do that.
Sure. Well, sure. Again, that's why I'm saying I'm not gonna criticize him for throwing the two-touch pass per se, but
No, I am. But what I'm saying is I am blaming him for that, because it'd be one thing if he bright-eyed and bushy-tailed threw it to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
No, he closed his eyes and threw the ball because he was under pressure and he knew he needed to get rid of it, but it wasn't a 100% logical thought. It was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. Let me hurry.
Yeah, I gotta make something happen. That was the.
I gotta get rid of the ball. He wasn't trying to make nothing happen. He was trying to get so he wouldn't take the sack. I get that.
Yeah,
but
to me it was more so he was trying to make something happen. I mean, it's the waning moments of the game, and it's on the line.
But it's a prayer, though.
Sure, prayer or not, he was trying to make something happen.
But there's a difference between making a logical football play and doing a prayer football play. He closed his eyes like he was saying a prayer to God that he don't take this sack.
That don't mean he wasn't trying to make something happen.
But what I'm saying is that you're saying that you're not judging him for that. I'm judging him by it because of his intent. His intent was, I hope something goes wrong, not I can make this happen.
Right, and I'm judging it by the fact that he was already wrapped up in a situation, which was the reason why he used two hands to throw the ball the way he did.
He used two hands because he was holding on to the ball, not trying to fumble. He wasn't trying to throw it with two hands.
But he did, though.
He did. Well, I don't understand. I don't get what you're saying.
I'm saying he threw the ball with two hands because he was already wrapped up in the position he was wrapped up in. Now, you could point to the fact that he closed his eyes and just made something, silly, and I agree. I thought it was a dumb decision to even throw it, period. I thought it was a dumb decision, but at the end of the day, he was already wrapped up. It was toward the end of the game, and, I don't know what's in that man's head, but if I had to guess, he was trying to make something happen. It was toward the end of the game.
Make something happen, what do you mean by make something happen?
Hoping that somebody was at the point where he threw that ball and that they can make something happen.
But all right, so you don't blame him for that. But
I'm not saying it's logical. I'm not saying he thought logically. I'm just saying it's the moment in the game where this is it. If I don't make this throw, if I don't make this play, I'm wrapped up, and now I got a second or two to make a decision, and it just so happens he did what he did, and maybe thought for a split second, hey, I gotta make this decision, I gotta make this happen. It is what it is.
What's the difference between when he closed his eyes and threw the interception and when he closed his eyes and threw the two-handed football outside of the fact that it was an interception?
There's really no difference when it comes to the moment of the game.
No difference, right?
Huh?
Right. So my point is that you can't make those types of mistakes. You just can't.
I agree.
You can't do those types of things and then be like. I forget where we went initially with this point, why we got here, but I think what I'm saying at the end of the day is that Jimmy Garoppolo is trash, and it's really no other way to slice it. I can't really remember. I know we were somewhere specifically, and I lost that thought. But I know when I said we was about to rag on Jimmy Garoppolo, it was coming to the intent of that he's trash. And again, I'm not saying get rid of him and all that. Maybe I'm just saying he got some growing to do. But as of right now, when they put him in a situation when Kyle Shanahan put the team, the offense, in a situation where, all right, we got to play honest. We can't load up. We can't. We got to be able to play the run, the pass and whatever else come. We got to play honest. There were opportunities where Jimmy Garoppolo should have made plays, and he wasn't able to make plays. And then whenever the pressure came, he did something like that.
Yeah, which is a lot of quarterbacks, and like you said, I'm not gonna go out and say, oh, he's got to get traded. They got to move on from the guy. All this means is he's just got to work in the offseason, bruh. He's got mad work to do.
Did you hear Sammy Watkins' comments
about what?
About the Richard Sherman play?
No.
Okay, so when he burned Richard Sherman on the 38-yard bomb.
Yep.
He said that he knew that he had Richard Sherman beat based off of a play from the San Francisco Green Bay game where
Devontae Adams
beat him on an inside release.
Yeah.
Had Richard Sherman spent around.
Yep.
He said that he knew in that moment when he had him one-on-one that's how he was going to beat him, and obviously that's how he beat him because Richard Sherman was lost.
Oh yeah, he was burnt toast.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he definitely was. But it was based off of that inside release. He ran inside of him and came out.
Yep.
And had Richard Sherman in the spin cycle, and there you go. But I thought you had read that.
No.
Thoughts? Any thoughts
on that particular comment from Sammy Watkins?
Because that was also a big play. In that second scoring drive where,
yep.
They needed something big to bring that momentum back and, burning the biggest, their best corner for 38 yards. That was big.
That was big. That definitely was a big play. I'll go back to and this is just particularly on defense. I'll go back to the 3rd and 15, where I just thought from that moment on, the defense just had no answers after that point. Like, I can't even think of one really positive, good play that the defense made after that conversion. It was the Kelsey touchdown. Then they got back on the field after the 3 and out, and they got scored on again. Right.
Yeah.
It fell apart after they couldn't get off the field on 3rd and 15. So, I could point to so many different reasons for, who lost the game, who do you blame, and, what's the pecking order. But for me, if I had to rank it, I'd have to go Kyle Shanahan 1, Garoppolo 2, and the defense for not making that play on 3rd and 15, number 3. And, and I get that you're a player. You got to make the throws when it's necessary in the moments of the game. And it's not like he hadn't done it previously. It's just that this moment was a bigger moment than it was in the regular season, and he just didn't come through. And I think a part of that, though, Maestro, was Chris Jones making a pretty good play. And I think somebody else had a batted ball as well. I think more so Kansas City's defense made some plays here and there. I don't know if you heard this, but Tyrann Mathieu came out and was like, yo, we were so glad that they stopped running the football on us. Because he knew if the Niners had kept that formula going, that it was going to be some problems toward the end of that game. Or they would have went back to their original game plan and putting 8 in the box and daring Jimmy G to throw the ball. See, that's the thing. Like, and look, San Fran running game is A1. We know it. Yeah. But so was the Tennessee Titans, and they shut it down. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I'm not saying. I get, and sure, I think you and a lot that I think people were taking that like they didn't believe they could stop him if they kept running the ball. I believe he was saying that it would have been more difficult for them to secure the win if they ran the ball. Sure, and I get the other side of it, where if you go, we're gonna run first down, we're gonna run second down, and then we'll throw on third down, and you don't convert that third down, then I could see the other criticism on the other side where they say, oh, they got conservative. I could see that criticism, coming to light as well. But bottom line for me is that you do what got you here. If you're going to go down, then go down doing what you got to get there. Don't go down doing something that you're not successful at doing.
Well, not so much that they're not successful at doing. Again, if he had made an accurate throw, or you know what I'm saying, like, or Chris Jones hadn't jumped, or you know what I'm saying, or put his hands up, whatever he did, we would be having a different conversation about the play calling and the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. We would have a different conversation, but I think we also, and in particular the Chiefs, I think they would have did this too. They would have tipped their cap to Jimmy G and be like, all right, we dared you to throw the football. You did what you did. All right, we salute. No problem at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, we agree on the fact that he should have. I agree. I would have, if that were me in that situation, I would have ran the ball on 2nd and 5.
Yep.
I would have ran the ball more in that game period.
Yep.
If I were the San Francisco 49ers. But again, I do believe that Kansas City, based on what they were doing, were putting them in situations where Kyle Shanahan said, "Oh man, we may be able to get one off on them. We might be able to open this game up."
Yep.
And make this, you know what I'm saying, and put the knife in the back, the nail in the coffin.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yep.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
They had a couple of plays like that. Going back to the first half toward the end where they threw the deep ball to Kittle, and that got called back because Kittle had the offensive PI, which I thought was a little bit soft. I would have been okay if they didn't call that. Like, I didn't think it was as blatant as
I don't think they should have called it either.
People made it out to be. You know what I mean? So
I think everybody agrees that it shouldn't have been called.
Yeah, I thought it was soft, if you ask me. Like, I mean, it's not like the Chiefs defender couldn't still run after him. Like, you saw the replay where he had his arm out and he did like push off, but the Chiefs player kept running after him. Well, he didn't slow down or anything like that.
The way I understood it is that the referees may have had a preconceived notion to not call offensive. I mean, to not let that call get missed like they did in the Kyle Rudolph situation against the Saints.
Yep.
That was the same staff that didn't call it in the Vikings New Orleans game.
Oh, good catch. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So my understanding is that they were not going to let that be, a talking point, in the Super Bowl coverage the next day. So that's why they made the call. Or that may be the reason why they made the call.
No doubt.
Yeah. So, there's that. I don't know how much more you got left in the Super Bowl. I know we're about to run out of IG Live time.
I was gonna say, man, I want to kind of reset the show a little bit here, but let me just shout out Sports Outside the Box in our IG chat. Also, Ron McClam. We got the Ball Strikers in here. Choose No 142. We got HRAP B, Big Kev 303. Appreciate everybody in the chat here. So, so I'm gonna just take a quick break here. We'll shut down the IG Live, and then we'll come back on another IG Live segment right into the show. So, you're listening to the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast live.
What else you got to talk about?
What's up?
I was going to ask you. I wanted to know what else you had on your docket.
I want to get into a couple things. We had a couple players retire, and I want to get into this Andre Iguodala situation with the Grizzlies.
Gotcha.
So that's all I got on the docket. So, all right, folks. It's the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast live on IG Live and barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. We're going to take a quick break real quick and come right back and, get the second half of the show started. So, again, it's Trey Fraser, Maestro Styles here. Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We'll be right back. All right, y'all. Welcome back. It's the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Live on barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. Also live on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Maestro Styles and Trey Fraser here in the house.
Yes,
just a couple shout outs too, also in the chat on barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. We got Miss Mocha Bella. We got DJ Period. We also got the man RC. We got Kia. We got Professor X, a.k.a. Kesey, repping the X Squad. So we appreciate everybody here in the chat, in both chat rooms for that matter. So this whole thing with Andre Iguodala, right? Mm-hmm. So just to kind of set the story, just to set it up real quick. So the Grizzlies are having one of the more surprising basketball seasons right now. 25-25 on the season. I think they're the number 8 seed, in the West right now, and it's really all because of Ja Morant. Clearly the rookie of the year.
Yeah, definitely. But they got some other cats contributing though.
Yeah. No question about it. Yeah. No question about it. I just think Ja Morant is sort of the engine that's kind of stirring that team right now. I don't know where they'd be without that guy. I mean, he's playing some pretty good basketball right now, and I don't know who the coach is. I haven't watched a lot of.
That's a damn shame we don't know who that coach is.
Yeah,
he should be recognized right now.
He should be. He should be. And I haven't watched a lot of Grizzlies games, but I've definitely paid attention to some highlights and everything.
I know this nigga dunking on somebody every time I turn on Sports Center, he dunking somewhere.
Yeah. So clearly he's the rookie of the year, and really it should be unanimous.
You already know what's happening right this second. This nigga ain't played 10 games yet, and they already talking about, let's wait to see what Zion do.
Sure. I just take more stock into playing every game. And Ja Morant, maybe minus a couple games here and there, has done that a lot more than Zion has. But I feel you with the Zion thing.
What would Zion have to do to change your mind in the second half of the season?
I tell you what, and I guess this kind of falls in line a little bit with the MVP, but I think there's something about coming back, and I guess in this case, starting for the first time in a regular season, first time in your career, and kind of willing a basketball team into a playoff spot, which is still possible with the Pelicans. I mean, I know they're like under 500, but if the Pelicans did something crazy to where they racked off a number of games in a row and got that 8th seed or that 7th seed, I would take some consideration into giving it to Zion Williamson.
Okay.
I would do that. So, getting to Andre Iguodala, right? So, the Warriors trade him because they don't want to pay him the salary. They trade him to the Grizzlies in the offseason. And there was some kind of mutual agreement that he was going to sit out.
They would get him out of there.
That they would get him up out of there, right?
Yeah.
It's February 4th, and the dude is still on the roster. He hasn't played a game.
Yeah.
And you see this nigga on TV. I saw him on a couple of instances on TV doing some commentating. Mm-hmm. And, you got the young boys on the Grizzlies all tight about it. Like, you could be helping out this team right now. Like you the veteran right now.
Right.
Like we balling out. So just to kind of give you how I feel about the situation. Number one, I do not blame players like Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., who I forgot was on that team, who's also, helped contribute to that team, and a few other young boys. I think Dylan Brooks said something too about this.
Dylan Brooks was the guy who was with Ja Morant in the commentary.
Right. I don't blame those players one bit for coming out and saying what they're saying about Iguodala, because they're right. They could use a veteran presence on that team right now, like a Andre Iguodala. They could use that right now. And the fact that they're 500 and in the 8th seed in the West, that has to say something. I mean, Iguodala might propel them to a 7th or 6th seed. They might be a little over 500 with Andre Iguodala on the floor. Who knows?
Maybe.
On the flip side, though, right? This guy's got 3 rings. This guy's got a Finals MVP attached to his name. The guy is about winning. You could say that, hey, he's earned the right to do what he wants to do, and that's cool. That's cool. If he feels like, you know what, I'm not gonna play because I want to be on a contender, then fine.
Cool, man.
What's up?
That shit ain't cool.
It's not cool, and again, I get it from the young player's perspective. If I'm the Grizzlies, though, if I'm the Grizzlies organization, don't I gotta, end this some way, somehow, even if it means you gotta cut him and just dump the salary?
Why you think he's still on the on the Grizzlies roster?
I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know.
Do you think maybe his trade stock ain't high, so they gotta try to find little ways to finagle the deal because don't nobody really want old washed up ass Andre Iguodala?
And I'm sure the Grizzlies have called teams and was like, "Hey, we want a number 1 or a number 2 for Iguodala." Yeah, I'm sure they've done that. So
we've heard all year about possible trading situations where he could go and a team he can go. Like now, it's the Rockets. It's the Rockets this week.
Yep.
And it's like, look. Here's the thing. You are a 3-time champion and a Finals MVP, and all that is great.
Mm-hmm.
You are at the end cap of your career.
Yep.
Why not take this time, whether you make it to another team or not, whether you get traded or not, why not take this time to invest in some young players? You're not in a situation where you about to be winning a chip and you're going to be a major contributor to it.
Mm-hmm.
If he goes to the Rockets, he's not going to be a major contribution to why the Rockets win the finals if they win the finals, which they, I don't have them winning it.
Right.
The only teams he could go to and get a chip is the teams that are in the running, the Bucks, the Lakers, those types of teams. But look. He's not going to be a major contribution. He's going to be a wing defender and a guy that gets you 10 every now and then, and that's going to be the gist of it. I'm not saying he's not needed somewhere, he's not useful somewhere, but you damn sure could be useful in Memphis. And it's very clear to me if they told you when it happened in the summer that we were going to deal you, and you haven't been dealt yet. That maybe it don't nobody want your ass unless the money right or unless the trade is right. So now they got to try to find ways to make 3-team and 4-team trades to get you somewhere. And you're probably going at the end of the day not going to end up on a championship contending team where you're going to have the opportunity to contribute like you contributed in that MVP year. Those days are over, man. You got a young boy and some young boys that's balling right now.
Yeah.
They're balling right now. And they don't need you. No, they don't need you. But could they stay in a couple of locker room stories about how to present themselves and how to do it in this situation and some on-court, like what are you doing, bro? Like, you got these young boys real life not liking you right now. So that means not only are you not playing games, but you're not even interested in the locker room. Are you even coming to the locker room? What are you? You're not spending no time with these young boys, but you're getting a paycheck, though.
And they're winning. And that's the crazy thing about it. They're winning games. They're in a playoff spot right now.
Yeah, I don't respect that. I don't understand it. I don't respect it. It's not cool. That's not cool. That's not fly shit, dog. You at the end of your career, and I respect players who at the end of their careers, and maybe you don't realize it at the end of the career, but if you don't realize it, I tell you, and maybe one day you'll hear it. You at the end of your career, bruh.
And you know who else? And you know who else doesn't realize that he's at the end of his career? The Memphis Grizzlies. Because if it was me, I would have just cut the guy and just eat the salary. Because
no, I disagree with that. Because there is value you can give for Andre Iguodala. There is something you can give for Andre Iguodala.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. But it's February 4th. It's February 4th. And
so you wait to the trade deadline and then you cut him. If you can't trade him off, I get that. You cut him.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can do with him at that point. But why are you just saying, all right, you ain't got to play. You ain't got to do nothing. That's what if I got a slight with the Grizzlies, is that. Like, you just going to let him just.
That's where and that's where the Grizzlies come at fault here. Not only are you just letting them.
But you saying cut him. I'm saying, no, don't cut him.
Yeah, no, I'm saying you try all the avenues to try to get some value for the guy, and it's been 50 damn games already in the season, and it seems to me, and again, I don't know who they've been talking to on the phone and all that stuff, but it sounds to me like they were just more willing to pay a guy just to sit on the damn bench. And if that's the case, then damn it, I'm in the wrong profession, bruh, because I would love to just, get paid and not do a damn thing myself.
Nah, you in the right profession, bro. You ain't Andre Iguodala nice, or at one point nice.
I damn sure ain't got his money.
Yeah, but yeah, man, Andre Iguodala, man, like you're sitting around doing nothing, collecting a check, and I guess when I say that out loud, I ain't mad at a nigga getting paid for sitting down, but at the same time, these young boys got a right to be upset, and the Memphis Grizzlies, if you're gonna be mad at anybody, for real, it's the Grizzlies.
It's the Grizzlies.
Bruh, if I'm John Moran, if I'm Dylan Brooks, if I'm Jaren Jackson, if I'm these guys that's in here contributing, I'm like, why is this nigga in here getting a paycheck? We either get the trade done.
Yep.
Get it done. And
yeah.
I get it done.
Even if it means you get a 4th round pick for the guy.
Get it done. I mean, get it damn done. Like, y'all playing these games where he's sitting here and he's getting paid. He's getting paid.
Yeah. You know all those rumors, though, in the beginning of the season where it was possible that the Lakers might be in on his services. You heard all that stuff, and then you noticed how it just died down.
Because they wasn't really interested.
Just like that.
At least not for the money you think he's going to get.
Yeah, right.
At least for that.
What, $17 million, right?
I don't know. I didn't know what he was asking for, but no.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that ballpark figure out there being thrown out there, $17 million.
Nah,
yeah,
bruh.
Nobody's paying Andre Iguodala $17 million. Not at 36 years old, anyway.
Nah, bruh. Sorry.
It's funny. I just thought about his former team, right? The Sixers, right? And they just got blown out by the Heat last night by like 30-something points. I think at one point they were down by like 35 points.
Jimmy, when the story about shit, did they let go of the wrong person?
Yeah, I've heard about that too. It's a reach, but
not a reach to me.
What if Iguodala went back to Philly?
For what?
It'll be
nostalgia.
It'll be for nostalgia, and it'll at least be some kind of a change, because God knows the Sixers are not having the season that everyone expected them to have.
Yeah, but then Andre Iguodala ain't about to change that. We just got to finish saying that he's not going to make any realistic contribution to any team.
Production wise, no, but you get a
sports wise. I'm talking about basketball wise. Period.
No, I know. But in my opinion, if you get a guy for nostalgia, and the guy could still defend. I mean, let's be honest, and I get that defense is not their problem in Philadelphia, but I mean, is he gonna hurt the team? Is he gonna make them worse than what they are now? What's up?
For $17 million, he is.
Well, I mean, when you talk about the money, certain, and I guess they got to work that out, whenever that time comes. But I don't know. I thought about the Sixers because they got blown out last night. It was his former team.
They would have still got blown out that night.
I'm reaching. I'm reaching for something.
They definitely would have still got blown out that night. And by the way,
maybe by 20.
Simmons,
maybe not by 30. Maybe by 20.
By the way, Ben Simmons still ain't got no jumper.
We knew that.
I know what Bams was. I seen what Bams was talking about. He hit a 3-pointer in preseason.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking 3-pointers, but I don't think that equates to him having a jumper all of a sudden.
No, I mean, the point is that I'm sorry, he's a disappointment to me at this point.
Yeah, these niggas got to stop it, man.
And really, to a lesser extent, Embiid has been a disappointment, but that's another topic.
Did you know? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you know Embiid had a scoreless game this past season? This season so far? Yeah. The nigga actually went scoreless in the game this season.
Yeah. This is not a championship team, and it should be on paper at least. It should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have a wing though.
Huh?
To me, they don't have that wing player. Like Jimmy Butler was that guy, if you ask me, from last year, and he's down in Miami. So
they don't have they don't have no dog on their team. They don't have not near a dog on that team.
They don't have a dog. They don't have a guy that you could say
that's going to take over.
Give me the right. Give me the ball.
They don't have no real shooters.
Yep.
Yeah.
They let one go. They let JJ Redick walk.
I'm not necessarily mad at that, but now you don't got no shooters.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, he could have came off the bench. I mean, we've had a conversation about JJ Redick in the past.
He should have been starting when he was starting.
Right. He shouldn't be starting, but I would have liked for them to keep him, coming off the bench. I mean, that'll be instant offense coming off the bench.
Yeah, but he was getting like $18 million when he was starting, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
and he was averaging about 17 points a game, too.
Yeah, right.
So you just don't let that kind of production walk out the door like that.
So I feel like I should bring some light to this because via our chat room the other day, somebody posted about Jamel Hill responding to a ghost account who was allegedly Nick Bosa, spreading Kobe rhetoric, Kobe jokes on a ghost platform where she called it out, and the story hasn't been getting any headlines, so I feel it's only right. I went and followed, went and found that account on Twitter. That is suspended as of right now, and the people who put out the article, I forget their names.
Okay.
But essentially, they was out there putting like little Kobe, little memes, little fun, little trying to be funny about the dude when he just died.
Yep.
And like him, like the Washington Post lady who was fired, the MSNBC person who was fired, and that comedian who shouldn't get a show again in his life.
Yep.
If Nick Bosa is doing this, it's I feel like it's my business to say use a trifling racist nigga that I don't fuck with, and I just needed that to be said. I needed that to be on record that that if that's emphatically what he's doing, it should be highlighted. And it's my platform, so that's me putting it out there.
So let me get this straight. So this was a Twitter burner account. Am I getting that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the information that he posted, that was something from another source?
No, so what Nick Bosa, so they're saying that this is Nick Bosa because nobody else famous follows this Twitter person except for Nick Bosa.
Okay.
Nick Bosa, then this account posted those jokes, and then you see Nick Bosa liking it, and nobody else, famous or what I'm saying.
Yep.
And he didn't even have a lot of followers, so it was like, less than 200 followers, but then Nick Bosa follows it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's suspect behavior. That's what makes people believe that it was a ghost account. So Jamel Hill, I'm guessing. Well, Jamel Hill retweeted, and another account who saw this and said, this is Nick Bosa using a ghost account to, throw slander at Kobe name.
Yeah.
And Jamel clapped back at that Twitter account, or something to the effect of Nick Bosa, being a racist and all that. And my thing is that, look, so when I saw it on the ghost chat, on the group chat, on ABM's group chat, I went and looked it up, and I'm like, for me, it's like this, man. Hey, bro, you ain't gotta hide behind no burner account, man. If you got something to say, say what you gotta say and stop being pussy. Cause I don't like stand behind it. If you gonna make a statement like that, stand behind it, bruh. Don't be no sucker. Stand behind it. Say what you mean and mean what you say.
Well, the conclusion I get out of that is that's his character. I remember when he got drafted, I remember some of the tweets, old tweets that people pulled up from Nick Bosa, and he erased them. So, obviously, he didn't want to stand by, and he probably does in his mind still stand by those tweets, but he didn't want to leave those tweets kind of hanging out there for his brand or whatnot. This situation here further proves to me that this is this dude's character. That
fuck Nick, and I don't want to stretch it out, but I did want to make sure that we highlighted it because it should be highlighted. Fuck Nick Bosa and Joey Bosa.
Oh, if we want to do that, then let's go to the family. Let's extend it to the Bosa family.
I don't know what the family did. I don't know what the family did. I know what Nick and Joey Bosa had posted on Twitter. Fuck both of y'all. Hey,
they got raised by somebody, right?
I'm not gonna make no assumptions. See, I want to be clear in my slander. See, I'm not gonna attack the whole. I can certainly assume what they do and who they are as people. I don't read their tweets. I read Nick and Joey Bosa's tweets.
Sure.
Specifically, fuck you, Nick and Joey Bosa.
Sure. And I'm gonna say they was raised by somebody with the same last name, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
You know.
I hear you. I'm just saying. I'm only gonna speak on what I know. What I know is
I hear you.
They done said some bullshit on Twitter. And fuck both of y'all. I don't give a fuck how good defensive ends y'all are. Fuck both of y'all.
So, I guess because I'm a Knicks fan, I guess I got to talk about Steve Mills getting fired earlier today. My thoughts on that. It had to happen, man. You know, I was all for Perry and Mills and Fizdale when they were trying to, start something brand new and, trying to, get this team back to, some relevancy. The problem I have is that you got Marcus Morris, who's balling right now, right? He's balling. The Knicks aren't going anywhere. There's no playoffs. There's no 8th seed, even though the bottom of the East is still bad. But it's so much worse that we're bad and we can't even compete for the 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. The fact that the Knicks are so sold on still wanting to keep Marcus Morris on the roster for the rest of the year when this dude has had his best year ever in his career. Ever. That's trade bait right there. If I'm the Knicks, I gotta get at least a second round pick for Marcus Morris. At least a second round pick. The dude is balling this year.
So are you telling me
he has trade value? You trade a nigga while he's hot.
Man, ain't nobody tripping up no goddamn Marcus Morris right now.
You don't think contenders could use Marcus Morris on their roster right now?
Of course they could, but
okay then. So why are we acting like he has no trade value?
I'm not saying he don't have no trade value, but I feel like what I feel like this is, and I knew I should have said it when y'all didn't get no free agents in this summertime. I should have said it then. Don't act like we're trying to rebuild a team now, because when y'all had the opportunity to bring in the free agents that would have changed this whole fortune of this team, nobody was mad. Or let me say nobody. Let me not say nobody. You weren't mad when they didn't pull KD or Kyrie or hell, even Kemba Walker or these free agents that were available,
right?
And under the pretense that y'all built a roster with a bunch of young boys who can grow and become better.
That wasn't my premise. That wasn't my premise. If you remember, I said that I like the contracts that they signed these guys to: Bobby Portis, Elfrid Payton, Marcus Morris, Julius Randle. I like the fact that they signed that they got contracts to these guys that wasn't going to handicap the basketball team, because I even knew, even before the season started, that if we don't somehow show that we're going to compete for a playoff spot, that these were going to be contracts that were going to be tradable. And now we're at the point now where that's coming to fruition. And I'm upset that they're talking about keeping Marcus Morris when this guy is having the best year of his career and the guy has trade value, and you're talking about still keeping him on the roster, knowing you're not going to compete for a playoff spot.
What do you really think you're going to get from Marcus Morris that's going to change the
But it's not just Marcus Morris. I mean, it's the other players that they signed as a combination to get some assets back.
So these other guys have trade value. These other guys do too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Don't sleep on the other teams that's trying to contend for something. I mean, you don't think the Portland Trailblazers, and I know they just got Melo, you don't think the Trailblazers need a guy or two? Because God knows they've been struggling all year long. I mean, come on. There's gonna be some teams out there that's gonna need some players, and it's crazy because I didn't realize the deadline was coming up this week.
Yeah.
Like I know it's usually after the All-Star game, but I don't know why they changed it.
I just gotta say, man, if you are the voice of the Knicks fan base right now, y'all are truly desperate.
Desperate for what?
Anything positive, because we're talking about trying to gain. We're talking about trying to get value off of like third, maybe fourth tier players at this point of their careers, and like. And I'm not saying they don't have value, but it's like. But
that's what I was saying in the beginning of the season, that this was gonna happen. This situation was gonna come to fruition if we weren't competing for an 8 spot, and this is where we're at right now. And the dude is balling like he's never balled before. So it's like, yo, get something for this guy, because whenever that moment comes where he stops balling, then he's not going to have no value.
But y'all had so much money. Y'all had so much money to pull in some viable, some at least second tier players to have it. Like, you had enough money to bring in 2 or maybe 3 second tier players, and you'd be possibly talking about with Fizdale coaching, you'd possibly be talking about an 8th spot in the East, and y'all just didn't do that. Y'all brought in a whole bunch of, and I get Julius Randle.
Julius Randle was the only guy that I saw that you're not going to trade. That was the only guy I saw that you were going to keep around for at least a couple years.
And now you really sold on that at this point. It's just.
Well, I mean, he's been productive. I mean, and granted, the team is not, I mean, it's not impacting the team in the win column, but the guy could play.
So if you're okay with keeping Julius Randle, why are you not okay with keeping Marcus Morris having a career year?
Because Marcus Morris is older than Julius Randle. Julius Randle is still young and sort of entering his prime in his playing career. Huh?
I'm not saying that's not important. I'm not saying that's it because that's not important. I'm saying that to say, when you know, I remember having this conversation vividly, but when we talked about the Knicks not getting any free agents, and you were saying that, you know what, I'm not even upset about it for real, because even though they didn't get a free agent, to get any big free agents, they put together a team for cheaper that may get an 8th seed if they play well. And now we're at a point where we got all of these, you know, cheap contracts, and you're not competing. As a Knicks fan, if I'm a Knicks fan, all I'm thinking about is last summer when we had the opportunity to bring in some second-tier players that would have you in this AFC race. They would at least have you in this AFC race. I'm not saying you go far in the playoffs.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If we'd have gotten some of those free agents, even some of those second-tier guys, my expectations would have been beyond the 8th seed. How about a number 5 seed, for that matter, in the Eastern Conference?
But that's more than my point. That's more than my point about why, when we talked about this and you was like, I'm not, and you weren't livid.
But it was more so the Kevin Durant thing, because all I kept hearing before the offseason started last year, Durant to the Knicks is a done deal. That's all I kept hearing, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. Now,
you're not buying that he's coming, or you're not buying that you want, or that you saying you didn't want him there?
No, I wasn't buying that he was coming to the Knicks. Now, if you'd have asked me before the injury, do I want Kevin Durant? Hell yeah, I want Kevin Durant. But after the injury happened, I had some second thoughts. It's the foot, it's the Achilles. He's 7-something tall. And I get he's still Kevin Durant, but the thing with the Knicks is that the Knicks have to start drafting their own guys. The bottom line is that the Knicks for so many years have tried going after free agents. You saw what happened when they got Amari Stoudemire years ago, after they knew that dude's knees was done, and they still gave him that contract. It didn't pan out well. So, bottom line, the Knicks have got to start using their first-round picks, not trading first-round picks away, and just stay with the draft and groom these guys up and develop these guys. That's really where it starts. And I thought about this, Maestro, right? So, we missed out on Zion, and obviously that's the lottery, so, you can't control that. We missed out on Zion. Knicks fans talk about we missed out on Kyrie, we missed out on KD. And those 3 players at one point in the season were on the bench, not on the court. Could you imagine if those players were on the Knicks, what the narrative would be? Niggas would be like, it's the same old Knicks. The Knicks have bad luck. It's, it would have been so much negativity out there about the Knicks because it's the Knicks. The Nets are sliding by right now. Like, Kyrie has played 20 games this year, and he's hurt now. He got hurt in DC.
The only difference is that y'all could be out of the playoff race. Y'all could be in the same position y'all are right now, but have Kyrie and Kevin Durant on your team, and nobody they're not looking at it as the same old Knicks because they know what's happening when Kyrie and KD are coming back.
Oh, well, they won't look at it when those guys come back. I'm saying while those guys aren't on the court, that would have been the narrative.
They're not going to be saying the same old Knicks. Like, for instance, Kevin Durant hasn't played all year.
Sure.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Kyrie hasn't played but 20 games all year. They're not going to be saying it's the same old Knicks knowing that Kyrie is coming back, knowing that KD is coming back.
Yeah, they will. They will.
They would have ate.
They will.
This season.
Yeah, they will.
This season.
Dude, it's the Knicks. They're a punching bag. They're gonna find anything negative to say about them.
Every single logical and legit Knicks fan that know they got Kevin Durant and Kyrie waiting in the wing would have took this season as a wash and been like, wait till Kevin and Kyrie get on this court.
I get that. I'm talking about the narrative from the media. I'm not talking about the narrative from the fans. Of course, if you have those guys on your team waiting in the wings, of course you're gonna think, it's not about this year. It's about the following year. Huh?
Nobody in the media is gonna say that.
Yes, they will. Are you kidding me? The Knicks? Are you kidding me?
There's no way the media could say they're the same old Knicks when they got Kyrie and KD waiting in the wings.
Bruh, trust me. Trust me.
I can't trust you right there. That's not even a logical statement.
It is a logical statement, dude.
That's not a logical statement.
Every move they make gets criticized, bruh.
But this
I'm telling you.
So you telling me they would have? There's no way they would have criticized and said this is the same old Knicks team when the only reason Kyrie and KD ain't on the court is because they were injured.
Yeah, and we get that. They still would have made a big fuss about it. The media would have they would have been crushing the Knicks, man.
They would have made a big fuss about it?
Yes. Yes. The Knicks are a punching bag.
They would say this is a bad team, but we know what's about to happen when Kyrie and KD come.
Well, fans are gonna say that. Fans are gonna look forward to the next year. The media, dude. Look, the owner. It's the owner's fault that narratives like this stow upon the Knicks. It's his fault. Any move that they make that involves them not being on the court for whatever the reason is, they're gonna get criticized, bruh. It is what it is.
So you telling me that?
I'm telling you, bruh.
Nah,
that's on everything, bruh.
Nah, bruh.
That's on everything. They'd have been like, oh man, the Knicks can't even keep people on the, the Knicks can't even, keep players on the court. Like that would have been a narrative.
How would that possibly be? How could that possibly be the narrative if KD wasn't even going to play anyway?
It's because of the history of the Knicks. The Knicks are gonna be the Knicks until they can prove they could do some things right. And as long as they can't do, and as long as they've had this history, that's what it's gonna be.
But this would have, if they pulled Kyrie and KD, they would have done something right.
Sure, but we're talking about the following. We're talking about the following season. And again, I'm not talking about fans' narratives. I'm talking about the media narrative.
I'm talking about the media too. I am now talking about the media.
Sure.
The media is not going to say after the Knicks pulled off the blockbuster trades of KD and Kyrie, but they can't play this year, specifically KD. They're not going to say speak about mistakes they've made. Everybody's going to look past this season.
Well, I didn't say they're going to speak about mistakes they've made in the past. I'm saying that their reputation for bad moves historically in the past is going to stem along with the narrative that they got these players, they finally made some right moves, and yet these guys can't get on the court. Regardless of the reason. We know the situation with Kevin Durant. We knew what it was with Zion in Summer League. And Kyrie has just been, off and on throughout the entire year. My point is that until the Knicks can prove that they can, make the right moves and have those moves come to fruition, the media is going to bang on them. And that's a fact.
And I'm saying, right, but what I'm saying is that signing Kyrie and KD would have been the right moves. The media would have backed up off of them.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that the media is saying they're the wrong moves. That's not what I said. I'm just saying that the narrative would have been, if these guys were on the Knicks and their situations are what they are now, the narrative would have been, it's the same old Knicks, man. Like, like these dudes can't catch a break. Like, all these guys that they got is, they not on the court.
How is the media? I don't understand how you're feeling like they would draw that narrative.
Because it's the Knicks. They're the Knicks are a punching bag.
Do you understand that the Knicks signing KD and KD?
Yes. Originally, if that would have happened, that would have been the biggest move in the Knicks in a while. We understand that. We understand.
That would have shot the Knicks bail this season. This season would have been a wash, and nobody would have really cared because they knew that KD and Kyrie was coming next season.
The season would have been a wash.
This season is not a wash because they didn't sign Kyrie and KD, and that's why I was saying that that move, the fact that they didn't pull that move, was so important. There's no way we're looking at this bum-ass Knicks team because they couldn't pull no free agents.
Right.
That's why we're upset.
And I'll say it again. I'm not going to regret what I said on the night that, the Nets made the moves. I'm fine with it. The Knicks need to draft. They need to develop players. That's been the problem with them for 20 damn years. They need to start drafting and developing players.
All this money they got in their salary cap to get proven players.
But what does that tell you? What does it tell you about the Knicks that even with cap space, they still can't get players to come to their team? What does that tell you?
No, they just couldn't get Kyrie and KD for whatever reason. But you telling me they couldn't?
You don't. But come on. Come on.
Ask the question.
What question?
You said come on. You said come on, and you like.
I'm saying come on. Like come on. The Knicks. When was the last real free agent for the Knicks?
Amari Stoudemire.
Right. And how did that work out?
Didn't end up well. But you telling me that they shouldn't? So are you saying because Amari Stoudemire didn't turn out well that they shouldn't have tried to get Kemba Walker?
No, I'm saying that the history of the Knicks in these types of moves hasn't worked out well for them in the past.
Well, neither is drafting, apparently.
We gave up our first round picks.
Did y'all not sign Kelvin Knox 2 years ago?
Okay, the jury's still out on him.
What happened to the French kid?
French kid,
We gave up on R.J. Barrett already?
He I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Because y'all are making it now.
But you're talking about recent drafts. Go back to the 2000s. We gave up our first round draft picks in trades. We've never had a top lottery pick up until about 2-3 years ago.
So again, my point is, you say. So how are you going to build through the draft if you're not even getting what you need? Okay, my point is that
go ahead.
You have a big salary cap. You had a big salary cap,
right?
To sign if you couldn't get your two top players, your two, 1 and 2, and KD and Kyrie,
right?
You had enough money to get at least 3 two-tier free agents to come to your squad. And we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
Sure. But what does that tell you? What does that tell you that not even the second tier guys want to sign with the Knicks? What does that tell you?
That the Knicks ain't throwing enough money.
No. That they not throwing enough money?
You just asked me what's it telling me. It's telling me that they're not doing a good job in luring free agents.
No. It's not the money. The reason is not the money. The Knicks can. When they got Amari Stoudemire, they overpaid for Amari Stoudemire because they couldn't get LeBron because that was the number one prize that year.
By the way, he did have a moment where he was productive. It just didn't pan out the way they thought it was going to pan out.
It worked out for about half a season until Melo got there, and then Amari just he just fell off after that. The Knicks can't attract free agents because they don't like the ownership with the Knicks. That's a fact. I could go on and on about James Dolan, but at the end of the day, the guy owns the team, and niggas don't want to play for the guy. And the front office is dysfunctional. The ownership is dysfunctional, bruh.
Steve Mills was fired, and who else was fired recently?
No, just Fizdale.
Yeah, that's it. The coach and the GM was fired.
The coach and his title wasn't general manager, it was something else, but it was just him and Fizdale. Scott Perry's still there.
Okay. See, so you think Scott Perry keeping the
job? I don't know now, and here's why I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna keep this Mike Miller guy, who I thought, was doing a pretty good job, when he came in for Fizdale. Whoever they get to replace Steve Mills, chances are they might want their own guy, they might want their own coach, and hell, he might want his own general manager. So that's why I'm not so certain that Scott Perry's going to keep his job. Because again, with what the Knicks do, they make changes that sometimes you question the timing of it, but at the end of the day, they just can't keep, a consistent staff for a long period of time. And, there's proof of that. There's a history of the Knicks just, dumping GMs, coaches for the last 20 years. And it just hasn't worked out. I'll go back to free agency. The Knicks, for some reason, they're not successful with free agency. And that's a fact, and it's been proven in the last 20 years. I like what they've done in the draft. We're going to see more about Kevin Knox. The French kid, I'm a believer at this point that he's just a great defender. Offensively, he doesn't, move the needle for me. We're going to see about RJ Barrett. And we keep this first round pick for this coming off season. We'll see what they do there. It's a process. They just started doing this, Maestro, in terms of keeping their first round picks and actually using their first round picks in these drafts. So I'm just trying to wait and see how this thing pans out. But I also want to keep a consistent coach in place. I also want to keep a consistent general manager, front office. I want those situations to be stable. And as long as Dolan is there, and as long as, they're so reactionary to the results, this is what this is. The Knicks are being reactionary to the results. And I heard something on radio maybe about a month ago where they were saying that Steve Mills came out and was like, your expectation is to make the playoffs. And I'm with it because I thought this team could be an 8 seed. And they start out 4-18 or something crazy like that, and they have to let go of Fizdale and bring Mike Miller on. So I'm just looking for consistency within the front office and the coaching staff, along with.
Why did they have to do that? Why did they have to do that?
Why do they have to do?
Let go of Fizdale.
The rotations. I thought, I watched a few games, and I thought the rotations he was putting out there were a little suspect. I thought the fact that some of the young cats on the squad wasn't getting enough minutes. I thought the veterans were out there more so, and I guess rightfully so, because they got the contracts, they were being paid the money and all that good stuff. So I kind of see it.
22 games of the season.
Right, and so I get that part of it, but his rotations, they were suspect. I didn't.
So you're okay with the firing?
Yeah, I'm okay with Steve Mills being let go. I mean,
no. I'm talking about Fizdale.
Oh, Fizdale? Yeah, I'm okay with it. Now, I mean, when it first happened, I kind of was like, damn, we just still can't, keep a guy. We can't keep a coach. When it first happened,
are they playing much better with Fizdale gone?
Yes, they are. They are.
I haven't watched.
They are. I mean, they're losing games, but I just think they're just not a very constructed roster. It's coming to fruition to be that way anyway. But I think you have a guy, because Mike Miller came from the D-League. I think the Westchester team, upstate. So it sounds to me like he has a better handle on the rotations, who gets, the minutes and things like that. I think he's more up to that than Fizdale was. But even with some of the losses, and they've been winning a lot more than they have been under Fizdale.
He was a better coach than Fizdale?
I didn't say he was a better coach. I just said he seems to have a better handle on the rotations and, putting players in proper positions more so than Fizdale did. But it's just not translating to enough victories to make you think, okay, maybe this guy could coach the team next season.
Okay, question.
Yep.
Fizdale was here last year? Was there last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, with this, you just can't let Fizdale go that fast.
I agree. And again,
you just said you was okay with the firing.
No, I'm okay with it now after time's passed. Originally, when he got fired, I wasn't okay with it. But
I'm still not okay with it.
Huh?
I'm still not okay with it. I'm not even a Knicks fan.
No, I mean, and that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to deal with it. I mean, you're not a Knicks fan, so you don't have to deal with it. But going back to last year, and I heard people talk about this, they were saying that the reason they hired Fizdale was to attract those big-time free agents. And when that didn't happen, now they had to rely on Fizdale to actually coach the team, because last year they were mailing in games, basically. They were tanking.
Do you believe that's a real thing, though, that they hired a coach to attract free agents? Because that sounds stupid to me.
The Knicks have been a stupid franchise for a long time, so it wouldn't surprise me, but you just never know. One thing I do know, the Knicks are stupid. I mean,
I got one more thing, man.
All right.
Did you happen to see Antonio Brown's interview Sunday?
No.
On ESPN?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll make it short.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's done as far as the NFL goes. If that wasn't already a foregone conclusion. This dude, I don't know, man.
I ain't gonna front though. I'm not gonna front though, because I wanted to talk about this last week because something else happened where he got arrested. He got arrested. Yep, he got released, and something else happened. I can't remember what.
He didn't get arrested. He turned himself in.
Okay, but there was a warrant out for his arrest.
Yeah.
I'm at the point now to where this guy might lose his life, and I don't want that to happen for him. I really don't. But you go through the timeline of everything that's been going on with this guy, from the gummy bears to, turning himself in to...
Specifically the gummy bears, and not the fact that he was cussing out the police in front of his kids.
Cussing to that situation, to everything. Yeah, everything. Everything, man. Like, I don't want this guy to lose his life, but, man, if he don't do something to, get himself some help, man, I fear for this guy's life, bruh. I'm not a Steeler guy, but when it comes to real life and people's situation, bruh.
I think he's long removed from being a Steelers guy.
Well, he spent most of his career there, so...
I think he's long removed from being a Steelers guy. I think what he's done in this past summer has long removed him from being a Steelers guy.
So do you think he's...
I'm not trying to disassociate myself from him, but when you say Antonio Brown, you don't think Pittsburgh Steelers. You think crazy, like.
I'm just talking about in football circles, not so much like life circles. We know life circles, you're gonna think about all the extracurricular crap. But I'm just talking strictly football. If somebody mentions to you Antonio Brown, the former NFL player, you're gonna think Pittsburgh Steelers.
I guess, but but again, I think him as a person, and I get you're saying football, but
yep.
And I know it hasn't even been a year, but it seems like he's so far removed from football. Like, he literally played a game this season.
Yep.
And it seems like he's so far removed from football.
Yeah.
That, and let alone the Patriots, we don't even think that. I don't know what the hell we like.
He's an afterthought.
Yeah, but I mean, he don't seem like, and truth be told, I guess he should feel this way, but he don't feel like he did nothing wrong as far as the women,
yep.
As far as the allegations and all that, and if you think he's innocent, then sure, I ain't mad at him for saying that,
right?
But he does acknowledge that he's emotional and he should have handled, like the Instagram live and all that shit. He should have handled that different, and. But all that to say, it seemed like he was trying to get on a tour to get back on the NFL team, and I don't think it's gonna work for him, unfortunately.
No, and every time you see an apology from him on Twitter, I'm always looking for what he's gonna do next.
Yeah,
because you kind of take his words as a grain of salt at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I fear for the dude's life, man. I hope he could get himself some help really soon, man.
He did. Last thing he did, they asked him about getting help because I guess Roger Goodell came out in a statement and said that they were interested in his well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And the reporter asked him if had Roger Goodell or the NFL extended help. And, he threw a little shade and was basically like, well, if you're not NFL profit, they're not interested in helping you because you're not an investment to them.
Yep.
So, which makes sense. So I think he's really on this tour trying to get a job somewhere. But he got to cut some of this shit out, man.
Yeah. Nah, I hear you, man. I hear you, bro.
Because he could still be a receiver somewhere. I don't think if he gets to a team and he'll still be a good receiver. I don't know how good he'll be, but he'll still be a good receiver. And so he should be somewhere. He just got to cut some of this shit out, man.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's happening anytime soon.
Neither do I.
Really, really don't, man.
And if I'm being honest, I don't think it's going to change.
I hear you. Hey, I just want to send a quick shout out to a couple of guys on some solid pro careers. Curtis Granderson retired from baseball, and Vernon Davis just yesterday retired from the NFL. Both guys had some solid careers, put up some good numbers, and much congrats to those homies right there, man. Couple black guys, doing it big, especially Curtis Granderson in baseball, doing it real big.
Tony Vernon Davis from the DC area.
Yes, sir. Former Maryland Terp.
Yep.
No doubt.
From DC, went to school in Maryland, and ended his career as a Redskin.
Yep. No doubt. Curtis Granderson, his best year was with the Yankees in 2012, so want to shout him out for doing that. And I guess we'll just end this right here, man. I know this video is about to go off, and want to send a shout out to everybody in the chat rooms real quick. BS3 Sports, appreciate you. Everybody else, RC, HRAP-B, Sports Outside the Box, 33 Reasons, appreciate everybody. Don't forget, folks. And Maestro, do you got anything else, or you straight? All right.
Nope.
No doubt. Folks, check us out on the podcast at barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. Also, we got the YouTube channel, so make sure if you are a subscriber to YouTube to subscribe to our channel. Also, check us out on Twitter at barbershopspor2, as well as the Facebook page, and also you can find us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. And if you got any questions or comments about the show, you can email us at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. So if nothing else, Maestro Styles and Trey Fraser, we signing off. Y'all have a good week. We're going to catch you next week, Tuesday, with some more sports talk. Peace out, folks. Y'all have a good night.